Welcome everyone. So today marks the day when we are having our finals for the first Trial Advocacy Society's witness examination competition. Today we are very privileged as well as honored to have the Sessions Court Judge Mr. Punish Jindia, who is Sessions Court Judge of Palwal, Mr. Narendra Singh, who is Additional Sessions Judge Sonipat, Mr. Siddharth Agarwal, who is one of the best senior advocates and is practicing towards the criminal side in the Supreme Court of India, in the High Court, and also in the trial courts. Trial Advocacy Society was formed 2 years ago on 9th of April, and today we have conducted more than 25 events wherein we had legal luminaries including Justice Yuju Lalit, Senior Advocate Saurabh Kirpal, Senior Advocate Minakshi Arora, Advocate Tanveer Ahmed Mir, Advocate Madhav Khurana, Advocate Shri Singh, and not only this, we have also organized events wherein we have invited police officers so that we could tell the students the art and the process of investigation. For our witness examination competition, there were 75 teams who had enrolled. Each team was comprising of 2 members. For the oral rounds, only 22 teams were selected. Thereafter, quarterfinals happened, wherein 8 teams were there. Yesterday, we had our semi-finals, and we had 4 teams over there. Today, for the finals, we have 2 teams. One is the prosecution, another is the defense. First of all, I would just like to congratulate both the teams. This is a competition which is first of its kind, and we have had this honor of having such legal luminaries with us, and I am sure that this particular event is going to be a success.
So trial advocacy has great advantages. Many of the trial advocates finally emerge as very leading counsel. One of the greatest examples is M.K. Nambiar. He started his life as a trial court lawyer, and he was one counsel who argued the first constitution bench matter. So therefore, it's not as if that the trial court advocates don't have a role to play. They have very exceedingly fantastic role to play, and we have done very well to have this particular society. Good luck to you.
Like, how was your experience at Trial Advocacy Society's event in Open Global University?
I was enthralled, excited, and frankly, maybe wrongly, surprised with the level of intellectual discourse, the thought that the students had done. Me speaking to them is one thing, but the nature of questions, not just by one or two, by virtually everybody in the audience, showed that they not only learned from what I had to say, but they had obviously come with a fair degree of reading about the subject.
This is the part which will prepare them to be of assistance to whoever they join tomorrow, and they're not blank-faced when they enter an office. So it's great groundwork to continue to be exposed to the initiatives which your Planet Advocacy Society is taking. So these 4, 5 years, 3 years, whatever we do. So please keep up this good work. Please keep it up.
The moment you get people like those at this formative years, you allow a young student to broaden his horizon and to think beyond. I mean, that's something I said, that the students here colored outside the line and found out questions that went beyond what was given to them. And that can only happen if you have the exposure to different facets of law on the practical side and not just the theory side. So, not just important, but I think this should be made mandatory in all colleges all across, right?
So this is a contribution which the Trial Advocacy Society has made to OP Jindal Global University, and we hope that we continue to do the same. On this particular note, we are going to start the rounds for today. So as it was already apprised to both the prosecution as well as the defense, that 30 minutes is going to be allocated to them. Necessary marks can be deducted by the judges in case they tend to exceed that particular time limit. Not taking much time, I would just like to request the participants to introduce themselves to the judges as well as the audience. Thank you very much.
Hello. Hello everybody. My name is Sahil Bhachawat. I am in the third year of law school, BBLLB program, and I will be representing the prosecution, and this is my teammate.
Hello, this is such an enriching experience. I'm extremely lucky, honored to be able to argue in front of you today, and looking forward to your suggestions and remarks. Thank you everyone for being here.
And IUID is 69.
Good afternoon, Your Honors, and greetings, everyone. I am Nitya Modi. I'm in the first year of my law school, and we are the defense. Our UIC is UIC 37. And this is my teammate.
Shaurya Mahajan. It's a great to be here. Thank you.
Thank you.
Before beginning, the council seeks permission to collectively address the bench as Your Honors. Very well, Your Honors. My name is Sahil, and I'll be representing the prosecution along with my teammate, Miss Ashni. So, Your Honor, I will begin with the brief facts of the case for your knowledge. So, what happened was that the accused person, Narayan Singh, on the date of the incident, which is 30th of June 2023, around 6:30 a.m., he, along with his tractor, which had a mini tanker attached to it, walked into the, carried the tractor into the field of the deceased person in order to steal water from the well of the deceased person. So upon seeing this, the deceased person got very angry. These guys, they got into a verbal altercation with each other. Because of the verbal altercation, the accused person got enraged. He got onto his tractor and he hit the deceased person with his tractor, after which he fell unconscious, and when he was taken to the hospital, he was declared dead. Your Honor, so the council seeks permission to call its first prosecution witness, which is Mr. Radha Krishna, if I may have the permission. Could you please state your name and your relationship with the deceased for the record of the court?
My name is Ramakrishna, and I am the neighbor of the deceased and an adjacent landowner.
Okay. Were you there around the crime scene at the time of the incident? And do you remember the date and time?
Yeah, it was early in the morning on the 30th of June 2023, and I was tending to my crops. So,
All right. Could you please briefly tell the courts the incident that you saw on the date of the incident?
right. So, as I said, it was early morning, and I was tending to my crops. And on the 30th of June 2023, I heard a commotion. When I only heard a commotion, I kind of ignored it in the beginning, but then it escalated later, and there was a confrontation that I heard. And as much as I saw Mr. Narayan, the accused, on the tractor, and Baldev was standing at a reasonable distance, and there was a confrontation happening in between them, and Baldev was shouting, yelling accusations at Narayan, saying chor chor for theft of water from his well. On the tanker, there was a mini tanker attached to the tractor, and there was a hose partially inserted in the well. So yeah, Baldev was yelling accusations, and then I saw Narayan aggressively going towards Baldev, and the tractor then hit Baldev.
Point to be noted, Your Honor. The witness says that he saw the accused person aggressively drive the tractor towards the deceased person. All right, Mr. Ramakrishna, could you please tell, if you have the knowledge, what kind of a relationship existed between the two brothers?
So the two brothers had kind of a sour relationship because there was a dispute going on between them due to the land that we're talking about. So yeah.
Point to be noted again, Your Honor. From this, we get to know that there was motive for the accused person to kill the deceased person, since there was a land dispute going on between the two of them. Mr. Ramakrishna used the word aggressively. You said that he aggressively drove the tractor towards the deceased person. Could you please elaborate on that?
Yeah, so aggressively, as in, first of all, if he, as much as I saw, if he wanted to stop, he could have stopped the tractor, but he just went in the direction of Baldev, and Baldev was at a reasonable distance.
So, two things to be noted here, Your Honors. Firstly, that he aggressively drove the tractor, which shows that he had the mindset to kill the deceased person, thereby showing intention. And also, the defense, I am pretty sure they will try to show that the deceased person suddenly jumped in front of the tractor, and it was not the case that the accused person drove the tractor towards the deceased person. However, it is pertinent to note here that Mr. Ramakrishna, who is the eyewitness, he claims that there was a reasonable distance between the tractor and the deceased person, right before the tractor was aggressively towed towards the deceased person. Mr. Ramakrishna, in your opinion, from what you saw, do you think that the accused person could have avoided the incident if he wanted to?
So, yeah, like I said,
Objection, Your Honor, it's hearsay. It's what the witness thinks.
She is the eyewitness.
Counsel is asking. Apologies, am I audible? Indeed. Your Honor, it's hearsay since the prosecution is asking the witness their opinion, which cannot be reasonably assessed by the witness looking from a distance.
It's not hearsay. The prosecution is simply asking whether the incident could have been avoided, because the witness is present at the spot. So it is certainly not hearsay. Let's see what the response comes, because at your turn you may ask the particular question in order to shatter the veracity.
For the record of the court, could you please just reiterate your answer in response to my question?
So, like I said, I only saw Narayan on the track, and while Baldev was there, he drove directly towards him, and yeah.
So he could have avoided the
Yeah, and
incident.
since there was a reasonable distance, if he could have braked the tractor, I think he could have stopped.
Your Honor, I might be reiterating this a lot of times, but it is very pertinent to note that the witness is using the terms reasonable distance and aggressively. These will go on to show the state of the mind of the accused person and his intention. Okay, could you please tell the court what happened to the tractor after the collision happened between the tractor and the deceased person?
Yeah, so as far as I remember, uh, the the tractor was around the well, and I could see the tracks of the tire around the land of the well. Yeah, that's all I could see.
All right. So upon the point of contact, you say that you witnessed the tractor hitting the deceased person. Am I right in assuming that?
Yes.
So upon the point of contact, at the moment the tractor hit the deceased person, what
Correct.
happened to the tractor? Did anything happen at all? Or was the tractor just simply kept on moving?
No, so after this happened, the wife of the accused, Priya Singh, started shouting when she saw her husband falling down, and then Narayan got scared because of the help that she was asking for, and he just fled from the scene.
Again, point to be noted, Your Honor, this speaks to the subsequent conduct of the accused person. Instead of helping the deceased person, he just simply fled from the scene. Had he not had the intention to kill him, he would have simply stayed there and helped the deceased person out. Did you see the accused person try to help the deceased in any manner whatsoever?
No, he just fled.
Okay, from what you saw, do you think that the accident was intentional or accidental?
Question.
You can't say whether it was accident. It is not your case of accident. So whatever the statement of witness was recorded, you want to put something extra.
No, Your Honor. This is simply in anticipation of the case that the defense is trying to prove.
No. Can you go beyond the statement of witness recorded under 161 CRPC?
No, Your Honor.
This is not part of statement.
All right, I'll withdraw my question, Your Honor. I'll withdraw my question.
You are placing the foundational facts. Whether it is intentional or accidental is the job of the judge to decide. The opinion of the witness is not going to make a difference one way or the other. Supposing the witness says it is intentional, does not make it intentional. Supposing the witness says it is accidental, does not make it accidental. So you have placed the foundational facts. Allow for the inference to come from the court.
I bow down to that, Your Honor. Thank you. Mr. Ramakrishna, do you know who owned the land that was in dispute? You mentioned there was a dispute. Do you know the owner of the land?
Yes, so since, like I said, I am the adjacent landowner, so we share kind of a wall. And the land, like I said, there was a well where the accident happened, and I have seen Baldev grow crops and be around the well, so he was in possession of the land.
When the accused person drove the tractor into the land of the deceased person, was there any damage caused?
Yes, actually, I saw that, like I said, there were tracks of the tire there, and crops, I have seen Baldev grow crops over there, and crops over there were destroyed because of the tractor.
Okay, so you said that you're a farmer, right?
Correct.
So you must be knowing what the ballpark figure of the cost that a particular crop might fetch in the market. Am I correct in assuming that?
Yeah.
Okay, so the crops that were destroyed, in your opinion, as a farmer, what do you think was the worth of those crops?
I can give you an approximate figure. It should be around 1,000 to 1,500 rupees.
Point to be noted, Your Honor. Two things here. Mr. Ramakrishna thinks that the deceased person was the owner of the land, which the defense will show was in dispute, and they will claim that it was their own. And also, Your Honor, the tractor of the accused person damaged the crops, and the worth of the damage, in the humble opinion of a farmer who's been farming since decades, the damage was to the tune of rupees 1,000 and 1,500. This will become important when the prosecution presses for the guilt of the accused person under section 427, which is mischief, an aggravated form of mischief, which causes damage to property which is above 50 rupees or equal to 50 rupees. That's all, Your Honor. Thank you, Mr. Ramakrishnan.
Thank you.
Prosecution seeks permission to now call Ankit Sharma to the stand. Prosecution now requests permission to call Ankit Sharma to the stand. Please state your full name and your profession for the purposes of record of the court.
My name is Ankit Sharma and I'm a local shopkeeper.
So you witnessed the entire event?
Yes.
All right, thank you. So please tell me what exactly happened on 30th June 2023?
So what was happening was near the land I was delivering supplies to another farmer over there. So I heard a verbal altercation that was going on. Both Baldev and Naren, they seemed to be very, very agitated with each other. And then after that, I saw Naren, the accused, climbing onto the tractor, and then he tried to go very, very fast towards Baldev, and he hit Baldev. And then the tractor immediately came to a stop.
Point to be noted, Your Honors, this is an extremely crucial point. Naren over here, the accused in the case, has gotten onto the tractor. He wasn't on the tractor when the altercation was happening. He's gotten onto the tractor. This clearly proves the intention. If you're having an altercation, why get onto the tractor? And just like mentioned by the shopkeeper, who has absolutely who has nothing to gain out of this testimony here today, he's merely a shopkeeper who's witnessed the entire incident.
Objection, Your Honor. The counsel is arguing the case.
Hello. Probably the point which you need to raise at the final stage, you just ask the questions that would be far better.
Apologies. Okay, continuing. So could you please tell me if Baldev Singh jumped in front of the tractor?
No, Baldev Singh did not suddenly jump in front of the tractor.
And in your statement, you've mentioned that he suddenly drove towards Baldev Singh. Could you please confirm this?
So there was like a considerable...
Leading question.
I'm merely asking him to confirm what his statement says.
Can you ask this thing?
Can the prosecution ask the witness to confirm his statement made either in 161 or in 164? In that way, that there is a statement that you have made, can you please confirm?
I will rephrase. Apologies. So could you elaborate on what happened?
So there was a considerable distance, like a long distance between Baldev and Naren when Naren got onto the tractor, and then Naren seemed to be driving the tractor very, very fast towards Baldev. And before I realized that Naren had completely hit Baldev and Baldev had fallen on the ground.
And was the tractor moving smoothly? Was it in control of Naren?
Yeah, it seemed to be in good control of Naren.
Point to be noted, Your Honor.
And because they've already raised that issue on leading question, you will have to be careful about how you word that question. Last 3-4 questions seem to be a yes or a no answer. Was the tractor driving smoothly? Was it under the control of so and so? The answer is either yes or a no. And so you just have to be a little careful.
Absolutely. That would be all. Thank you.
Your Honors, the defense would like to call the first prosecution witness, Mr. Ramakrishna, on the stand. Am I audible? Indeed. Yes. Thank you. So, Mr. Ramakrishna, where were you standing when you saw this happening?
I was at my land, like I
You were
said.
in your land?
Yes.
Roughly where you in your land, which side? Any estimate you could give?
As much I could see what is happening.
You could see what was happening, right?
Yes.
First you heard, then you saw, or first you saw and then you heard?
First I just heard a commotion, I ignored it.
Right.
Then
and you
I
share a
heard it.
wall with the other land,
Wall
right?
as in, yeah, as in it, since it's adjacent.
Yes, you share a wall. How tall is the wall?
Tall, not a wall, it's adjacent.
No, in your chief
So-
you've just said you share
Yeah.
a wall with the other
Yeah.
land. How
Yeah.
tall is this wall?
I'm not sure.
Is it safe to
I
say
could
it's a
see.
normal heighted wall?
Yeah, I could see.
So you
what
could still
was-
see above the wall?
Yeah, yeah. I could
Right,
see.
right. And you saw everything, correct?
No, I could only see from Narayan, from the point where Narayan was on the tractor.
So you saw him on the tractor?
Yes.
Then what happened?
So Narayan was on the tractor, Baldev was
Where was this all happening? Where was the incident that was happening?
near the well.
Near the well?
Yes.
You told us the police, right? You tell the police that this was near the well?
Near the well.
You told them, right? They have marked it as near the boundary of the land. Are you
Yeah.
aware?
Yeah, so the well is in the corner of the land.
No, that is correct. But the police have marked the scene of the incident as the boundary of the two land. Are you aware? Did you tell them this?
I think I just,
Did you tell them this?
I just know that it was near a well.
You told them near the well. It's
well,
their
yeah.
fault completely. Go ahead, please.
So I saw Narayan on the tractor and Baldev was yelling accusations at
He was trying
Narayan.
to stop him, right? He was trying to stop him
Yeah,
from
he
taking
was-
water. Your Honor, allowed to ask leading questions.
He
So you were
was-
trying to stop him from taking water, right?
Yes, because that
How was
was
he trying
from
to
the
stop
well.
him?
I was shouting. I was, like I said,
You were shouting?
Sorry. My bad. Baldev was shouting at at Narayan.
Shouting. And how else was he trying to stop? He was on the tractor, right? So how would a person below a tractor stop a person on the tractor by shouting?
I haven't seen the first half.
No,
of
so you
the
saw him on the tractor,
incident.
right?
I saw Narayan on the tractor.
Right. What happened after that?
So Narayan was on the tractor and Baldev was yelling accusations at Narayan because he was of theft, saying chor
He was
chor.
trying to stop him, come in his way, correct?
He was at a reasonable distance.
So what is reasonable
Was it-
distance? Can you give a rough estimate? How far away were you seeing from?
I don't know how much the distance
Okay,
will
how
be.
far away were you seeing from? Roughly 200 meters? Is it safe to say?
Maybe.
That's safe to say, right?
I'm not sure.
So from 200 meters, you could see that it's a reasonable distance that there was there, right? And what happened after that?
After that, when this was happening, I saw Narayan go aggressively towards
To go
Baldev.
aggressively towards.
Yes.
How
and
does it look aggressive to you? He was
I-
driving a tractor, right?
Sorry?
He was driving a tractor.
He was driving, and like I said, since there was a reasonable distance, Baldev was there,
Which
and he
direction
just
was the driving a tractor?
yes, he was going towards Baldev.
No, but towards Baldev, correct. But which direction was the tractor going in? Could you get another reference point? His house, Narayan's house.
He's asking whether he was driving towards
His house or the other house or some other area. A permanent structure could be a reference point if that's fine.
Right. Like I
So
said,
it was
there
his
was
house,
a well.
right?
Sorry?
He was taking the water to his house, correct?
He was taking.
Narayan was taking the water to his house, correct?
Yes,
He
there
was
was-
going towards his house.
There was a hose, yes.
And Baldev was coming in his way. That is why he was going towards Baldev, correct?
Baldev was asking him to stop, and
By standing in his way, right?
he was not. He did not jump in his way. He was,
He was
there.
there
He
in
was
his way, right?
stopping. He was
Indeed.
stopping.
How did... Indeed, please go ahead.
Okay. So Baldev was there, and Narayan went towards him. Like I said, there was a distance, and since he went
Right, that's
towards
right.
him, he jogged forward
How
and
did
fell
Baldev
down.
look to you? How was his reactions? Did he look normal to you?
I couldn't really see the face if that's what you're asking, but
No,
he was there. He was trying
Could
to
you see
stop.
his movements?
He was
did
a
he look
little.
fidgety? Did he look fidgety?
He was a little agitated because because he was on his land. But
He looked erratic to you, right? You said that in your statement.
Yes.
He looked erratic to you. Could you define erratic? What does erratic mean?
Mr. Defense, is it relevant?
Indeed, Your Honor, the defense is trying to establish the state of mind of the deceased Baldev Singh at that point in question.
No, state of mind this witness cannot explain.
Indeed, Your Honor, this witness has mentioned erratic in their previous statement, and therefore, what erratic?
On your asking.
I have
Indeed,
said
Your Honor.
I have said erratic protests. By that I mean that Baldev was trying to stop Narayan.
Right. And so around the well, are there any crops?
Yes.
There are crops. And the water tank was still attached, right?
Yeah. There was a hose partially inside the well.
Right. And what happened after the accident occurred?
After the accident occurred, the accused's wife, the deceased's wife, started shouting
So
for
you saw
help.
her, right? You saw her.
Yeah, she went towards the deceased and she started shouting for help.
You saw her shouting for help.
Yes.
Did she shout at Narayan as well?
Narayan was right there. Narayan got very scared looking
So he
at
got scared,
me,
no?
and he
And
fled
he checked
away.
up on his brother.
No, he fled away.
So you did not see him checking up on his brother.
No, he
How
got
high are
scared.
the crops in that land?
Your Honor, the field of vision is directly affected by the height of crops in the land. Indeed. Please. How high are the crops, roughly?
No, not a lot.
This much would be fine?
I don't think that much also.
What
a
crops
little
do they
bit.
grow?
I think it was rice.
Rice. How high is rice?
It was not very high. It was
So you could see very well.
I could
But
see.
it was very muddy and very watery because it's rice, right? Right. So
I
the
mean-
tractor would get stuck. That's correct. In your, as a farmer, in your
I
opinion,
know.
you
He
would not
was in
think that.
control of the tractor.
Right. So that's fine. Now the police asked you for statements and the report. You saw the report they made, right? So they have put you down as a witness in their report. That's correct. You were
Yes.
there when that happened.
Yeah, the latter part of it I saw.
You saw. And why have they mentioned you as a partial witness only?
Because I just saw the latter part of it when Narayan was already on the tractor. I did
So you did
not.
not see the complete thing happening. But you just said you saw the complete thing happening from the starting.
I never said that.
Right, indeed. And you signed the report, right?
Yeah.
You signed the report, the Panchnama report.
Yeah.
Yes, you did. Your Honor, there's no signature or name of the any witness on the Panchnama report as can be seen in the file. And this witness is either mistaken or has an
Yeah,
issue.
maybe I'm.
Indeed. So you told them the correct spot of the incident. They made a mistake. You told, you signed the report, but there's no sign. So again,
Maybe it's my bad.
yeah, you're bad. And so after this happened, the conduct of the person, Narayan Singh, how was he look? He looked shaken up.
He got very scared and he fled away.
He got very scared, right? Right. Did Priya shout at Narayan?
No, Priya was shouting for help when she saw her husband.
Right, right. And lastly, Baldev looked weird to you. He was running up and down, right? He was trying to stop his brother from taking water.
Yeah, he was protesting and
He
then
was protesting. He was trying to stop him and come right. And he looked erratic to you. Could you elaborate on erratic a bit?
like I said,
One last question. Indeed. So, was he jumping? You mentioned your chief that he was trying to climb the tractor, correct?
he was trying to stop him from
Trying to climb the
doing-
tractor. Those are your words, correct?
He was not trying to climb
That's,
the
Your
tractor.
Honor, that's the witness's
If-
chief.
Maybe I'm a little confused because there was a distance.
The witness is.
Okay.
You.
Yeah, okay.
Please. In your chief, you mentioned that he was trying to climb the tractor, correct?
Yeah.
Yeah, so he
I-
was trying to. That is correct. You're not lied, right?
No, but I'm
No.
a little confused.
So you are
Since it's been
confused.
some time now, I'm a little confused.
Right. Thank you. Witness is excused. The defense would like to call the second witness, Mr. Ankit Sharma, to the stand. Right. So, indeed. Indeed. Thank you, Your Honor. So, where were you when you saw this happening?
I was delivering supplies to a nearby farmer.
Okay. Where roughly, how far away from you from the scene of the incident?
I mean, it was clear. I was near enough to actually
So
see
you
the
wear
incident.
specs, right? You were wearing specs that day?
Yeah, I was wearing spectacles
At
that day.
what time was it roughly?
It was maybe around 6:30 around that
Right.
time.
What is your power?
My power is around +2 and +2.
+2, +2.
Yes.
So it's for far away, right?
Yeah.
So it's for far away.
Yeah.
Correct. So you find it hard to see far away distances.
I mean, during that incident, it was not hard for me to see it.
Right, right. And exactly where were Baldev and Narayan standing?
They were standing near the well.
Right, near the well, correct?
Yes.
You told us to the police as well.
Yes.
Correct. And you said you saw Narayan get on the tractor, correct?
Yes.
So you saw him on the ground as well before he got on the tractor?
He was
What
on
was
the
he doing on the ground?
So both Baldev and Narayan were having a verbal altercation. That is why it drew my
It turned
attention
physical?
towards them.
Were they pushing, pulling?
No, it was only a verbal altercation.
It was only
then.
verbal.
Verbal
Okay,
altercation.
so what happened after he started getting on the tractor?
After he started getting onto the tractor, he started driving it towards Baldev. There was like a lot of distance between Baldev and Narayan and the tractor, but he drove so fast before I knew it.
He
He kind
drove
of hit.
very fast.
He drove pretty fast.
He drove pretty fast, right? And so was the hose connected at that time?
I'm sorry.
Was the water hose connected at that time?
I mean, that is a very, very small piece of pipe, so...
The water hose is very small?
I mean, see, I saw the tractor connected to the tanker and
So it
then I
connected
saw
to the tanker, right?
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
So it was connected to the tanker, right? So it would, as you would think, it would be hard for a tractor to move very fast in rice lands where it's muddy and water with water tanker, correct?
No, no, no. Tractors
very
can
fast.
tractors can move
Right.
fast enough to hit somebody.
Fast enough to hit somebody, right? And before him getting hit, what happened? Was there some incident or was it directly hit?
So I mean,
Was there moving of the tractor, maneuvering?
no, saw the tractor moving directly towards Baldev.
Right. So it went in a straight line?
Yeah, it went directly towards Baldev.
Towards Baldev, right? Which direction was it again?
Which direction? Towards Baldev's direction?
Right, but could you again get a permanent point towards his house, towards Baldev's house?
So they were like, Baldev was essentially, from what I could make out, that Naren was trying to drive on the towards the disputed piece of land during that direction.
He was coming
I
in his
think
way,
so.
right? So if he was going towards his land,
He was not coming towards his way. He was
you
not
said he
coming.
was trying to climb the tractor.
Naren was trying to climb the tractor, and then Naren
No,
started.
but you said Baldev was trying to get on the tractor, right?
No, I said Naren was trying to climb onto the
Right,
tractor.
that
not
is fine.
Baldev.
Indeed, Your Honor. Indeed. So Baldev was in the way of him getting home, correct?
Baldev was trying to
Stop him.
trying to get Naren to calm down, from what I could
Calm
make
down.
out.
Right.
Yes.
And how did Baldev look to you?
Baldev seemed normal to me.
Did his reaction look normal?
His reactions, I mean, obviously he was a little angry because of the verbal altercation.
Are you a regular supplier in that area? So you have known
yeah,
the
I-
brothers?
yeah, I've been supplying goods
How
and
is the
services.
temperament of Baldev? Indeed. Indeed. How is the temperament of Baldev?
I mean, usually.
Usually, yeah.
So usually they are calm and collected.
Calm and collected.
Calm and collected.
Was he known for drinking?
I mean, I cannot really comment on that because I was not that close to the family.
Not that close, right?
Yeah.
On that morning, did he look normal? Did he look drunk to you?
I mean, how can I? He seemed normal. He seemed angry. That is what I could make out at that point.
Because you said he looked erratic and he agitated, right? So these words, were they only angry or did they have something else?
So I mean, if you are in a verbal altercation, you'll obviously feel very agitated and.
But you could not make it clear, right? From that distance of roughly 100, 200 meters, you're not clear.
No.
Your Honor, I'm just asking if you could see clearly from that distance.
He's trying to project that the incident was not visible. So he's just trying to elaborate that thing.
Indeed. Thank you, Your Honor.
I
Yes,
mean, it was very clear that Baldev seemed
it was
okay.
very
only.
clear from 200 meters away that he was agitated as in angry and agitated not as in annoyed or drunk or any other thing, correct?
He seemed upset, yes.
He seemed upset.
Yeah, he seemed upset.
And were his movements normal?
I mean,
Was he falling on the ground?
I mean, he acted like how a normal person would if they are a little angry.
So he did not act fidgety, he did not fall down on the ground, he did not scream.
I mean,
Like he stretched words.
there was a verbal altercation, so obviously that
So you're not
that
sure
commotion.
because
No, I am sure.
You're sure,
I
right?
was sure there was a
Right.
verbal commotion.
Right. Thank
that
you.
was going
Witness
on.
is excused.
Mr. Defense,
Need Your Honor.
just a minute. What is your defense? Can you suggest why this witness is deposing falsely, or whether he was there or not there? Can you put just one question to shatter his veracity, or why he is deposing against your client?
Indeed. So have you known the accused before?
I mean, we are part of the same village, so yes, it's a
Like,
small
you know the
committee.
deceased as well.
Yes, I mean, I've been supplying goods there, so I kind of have an idea.
Why
of
were
who
you
is
there supplying goods at 6:30 in the morning?
Because before everything, before the market starts, before the business starts,
So you do it every day?
yeah, fairly
And
regularly.
You saw it from across the road or from where exactly?
So I was near the land. I was
Whose land?
near another farmer's land.
Is that whose land? Could you give an example?
It was Mr. Ajay's land. He's not a part of
And there's a wall there? Of course, a wall between lands, right?
There was a wall. I mean, it was enough for me to see. I am not sure if there was a wall or not. I'm not sure if there was a wall, but I could see very clearly what was going on.
You could see very clearly.
Yes.
Right.
Thank you.
So can you please state your relation to the accused?
The accused is my father, Mr. Narayan Singh.
Did you see the incident unfolding in front of your eyes? Did you see the incident unfolding in front of your eyes?
Yes, from a slightly far distance.
Could you see everything reasonably clear?
You are doing examination in chief. Please be careful about your leading questions.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. What exactly, could you please state to the court what exactly happened on the morning of June 30th?
Right, so as we are farmers, we tend to wake up early and start work on our fields. Since the property dispute, we have been suffering slight financial hardships as water has become a critical issue for us. So my father had drove our tractor and he had our mini tanker attached to it as he was going to try to draw water from the well. That should have been ours. And while he was drawing water from the well, Uncle Baldev came out. He started screaming at my father. He started hurling abuses at my father. He was making allegations
And how
like
did your father
chor.
react to that?
My father was sitting on the tractor. He had already connected the hose to the well and he was waiting to leave. So
he was waiting to leave the farmland?
Yes.
Okay, continue.
And when Uncle Baldev came out, he tried to not react for as long as possible. But when he was very close, he started the tractor and tried to leave
Okay. In the
well
property
area.
dispute in question, were there any arguments before?
Yes, there have been
What was
lot.
the
There is
nature?
also a case, civil dispute going
Okay, what
on.
was the nature of these arguments?
That my Uncle Baldev had altered our grandfather's will only a few months before his death.
Did these arguments used to get heated or aggressive in nature?
By aggressive, if you are pointing to physical violence, then never, at least to my knowledge.
How was the temperament of your uncle?
He was a bit short-tempered, I would say.
How could you gauge that?
How would I gauge that?
Did you used to engage in any fights with neighbors or something?
Yeah, I mean, he used to make his disapproval very verbal, if that makes sense. He would make it a point to let people know that he does not like something.
Okay, so during this incident, how did your father try to de-escalate the situation?
My father was deeply hurt by the property dispute. He tried to talk as less as possible with my uncle. So he just started the tractor and I thought he tried to leave. However, if he said something, I think I was too far away to listen.
So is that a possibility that he went such an early morning to avoid any confrontation?
Yes.
Okay. So when after he got onto the tractor, how did this injury occur to your uncle?
The injury occurred, my Uncle Baldev was running around the tractor. He was trying to get onto the tractor. But he was falling, he was staggering.
From the actions of your uncle, what could you gauge? Was he acting like a reasonable person?
No, he was like very aggressive and he was like, he was not in full control of himself.
Did your uncle used to drink?
I have never been privy to those events, but like in the parties that the entire family was, he was the life
Did he
of
used
the
to
party.
consume in good quantities?
I'm not sure, but he used to drink till he was drunk.
So from the actions of the uncle that day, could you gauge that he could be drunk from the actions, from whatever he was showing?
I never thought of that. I mean, it was 6:30 in the morning till now.
Okay. After this incident, could you see anyone else at the crime scene as well?
Towards the end, I think my aunt Preeti was there.
Okay.
On the field, she was running towards the tractor, but I think that was towards the end of the entire
After your uncle
incident.
got hit, how did your father react to that?
When my father, the tractor had stopped, my father got down. I think he was in shock. There was no expression on
shock?
his face.
He was in shock?
I mean, I've never seen something like, there was no expression on his face. He was just silent.
And what happened after the wife of the deceased came in?
After my aunt came in, I think my aunt was also crying and shouting, crying in general and shouting at my father, and my father just walked back towards our home.
Did
He
you
left
meet
a
your father
tractor
after,
there.
after this incident?
Yes, I was at our doorstep.
Did you ask him that why did you choose to leave the deceased in the question at ground?
I did not ask him. I did not think he was in any condition to answer.
What was his condition?
He was not speaking anything. He was in shock. He was holding his hands in a weird way.
Okay.
And I
Could you
asked,
see from the actions that he was pretty remorse and shaken up after this incident?
yes.
Thank you, that's it. You may get excused. Your Honor, the defense would like to call its second witness, the doctor in the question. Yes, later. The doctor, sir. Dr. Rajiv Malhotra. He's a treating physician. Can you please state what job was you interested that day? What do you do?
My job?
Yes.
I'm Dr. Rajiv Malhotra. I'm a general physician. I have my own clinic.
Okay. So when did Narayan came to you, sir?
Around 7 in the morning on 30th June.
Can you shed some light on his injuries, whatever injuries was there?
He had fresh injuries on his chest.
Fresh injuries. Can these injuries occur approximately 2-3 hours before something had happened?
Yes, they were very fresh, so they would have taken place an hour or 2 hours beforehand.
Okay, and what could be the possible cause of injuries?
The kind of injuries that were visible on his chest are consistent with the injuries you see with patients who've had a sudden collision or a sudden breakage in their vehicle. When their chest slams to the steering wheel, those are the injuries that were consistent with what was on Narayan's body.
So how long have you been working with this medical department?
I have been working for 10 years now.
10 years, so approximately that's a decade. And
Yes.
have you seen cases of accidental injuries before?
Yes, accidental injuries are very common.
Okay, so what could be the cause? So this injury occurred when a person would apply forceful brakes, immediate brake.
Yes, a very sudden break.
Why would a person apply immediate brake? Such an immediate brake?
Perhaps they have to avoid something on the road.
Avoid something.
Yes.
Or to save something, which came in the way. Okay. Sir, are you aware about what is alcohol body level content?
Yes.
Okay. Can you are you aware about the consequences which may follow when a person consumes alcohol?
Yes.
How much is 0.20 alcohol body level content?
That is quite high.
Quite high. Can this body alcohol level content occur from 1-2 drinks?
No.
How much has a person to drink? How much has a person to drink for this level of alcohol body content?
You need to have hard liquor and a few glasses,
Okay. And if a person drinks, what consequences can follow from that?
For a 0.2 BAC, it would completely disorient you. You may feel confusion, you may be dazed, you may need help with walking. If you encounter an injury, you might not feel the pain because you'll be numb to it.
Okay.
You may also experience blackout and vomiting.
Would you feel distraught? Would you have any control over your actions whatsoever?
It would be quite difficult.
Okay, and if a person is engaging with such a person, how would a person react?
Could you elaborate?
If a person is engaging with such a person with such a condition, what would be the best response from such a person? Yes. Okay, that's it. Sorry, Your Honor. Yes. Thank you, doctor. You may get excused.
Thank
you.
Prosecution seeks permission to call Aman Preet to the stand for cross. So you're the accused son, right?
Yes.
You must love your father dearly and you must be astonished by what's happened.
Yes.
All right. So could you please tell me how far you were from this entire incident?
I was at my doorstep. I was tending to crops. I was just making some preparations to work on the field.
What was the distance?
The distance would have been across the field.
So you were able to see the entire incident properly?
Yes.
Okay. Could you hear anything?
No.
Nothing at all?
I mean, the tractor, the noise of the tanker being filled, these are loud noises, so yeah, you can hear them.
So did you hear any altercation happen at all?
Yes, my uncle shouts pretty loudly.
Okay, just your uncle.
My father, as I said, was not speaking much.
So he did nothing at all when your father, you said, was shouting loudly.
My father was not shouting loud.
Baldev.
Yes.
Yes, allegedly was shouting loudly. Your father did nothing at all.
My father did nothing at all. He just wanted his tanker filled. As soon as Uncle Baldev came very close, he tried to leave.
He tried to leave. So your father was just silent throughout.
My father was not able to talk to Uncle Baldev anymore after the bitter dispute.
But was there anything absolutely that he didn't say anything at all?
He did not, if he said something, he did not shout, so maybe I could not hear it.
Okay, and you mentioned that this was an ongoing dispute about the land, and
Yes.
you've alleged that he forged the will, Baldev.
Yes.
Okay, so your father must be absolutely infuriated by this, and I think the
Yes.
family too. Is that correct to say?
Yes.
So, was he extremely angry about the situation that day because you mentioned that he just wanted to take the water?
I mean, he was angry about the situation, but I don't think it ever went beyond that. I mean, we have an ongoing civil dispute that my father was sure we were going to win.
So, what did you do about the incident? You saw an altercation was happening, and you were at a short distance. You did nothing to help your father.
Right. So my father had told me to do certain work, and by the time the incident already started, I thought that since the tractor was already moving, if I went there, my father would have two people to avoid, hitting or colliding with, and so I just stayed at a distance, so it would be less of an issue for him.
So, your father would have hit you also. He was driving that fast.
No, but if you are already dealing with one problem, sometimes you don't want another person
One problem,
coming.
so you're calling your very own uncle a problem. So you
At
admit he
that
was a
moment,
problem.
yes.
Objection, Your Honor, argumentative.
At that problem, yes, he was a problem for my father.
Okay, so how do you describe your father to be in general? What was his nature like?
What was his nature? Like, can you ask me some points of reference type of question?
When somebody is accusing him of stealing, what would he do in a situation like this?
I don't think anyone has accused him of stealing before.
Your Honor, this is the situation at hand, and he said that he's witnessed the entire incident closely. I think the witness should know this much. All right, all right. So just to clarify, what happened right after your uncle was hit?
Right after my uncle was hit, my father, like the tractor had stopped, my father got down. I think he looked at the incident for a second, and by then my aunt was already out of her house. She was screaming at my father, and I think my father then just left from the scene and walked towards
So
our
just
house.
for a second, I think he got scared. Is that correct to say? Why did he just leave suddenly? He's hit somebody, his very own brother.
I am sure he was scared at that moment.
And why didn't you do anything to help your uncle? You share blood relations with him after all.
Because there were already, my aunt was already there, the neighbor Ramakrishna was already there. At that moment, if I had gone there, it would have not worked out, so, in my opinion. So I did not choose to do that.
That would be all. Thank you.
Your Honours, the prosecution would now like to call Dr. Rajiv Malhotra for the cross-examination. Mr. Malhotra, could you please tell the time on the date of the incident when the accused person came to your clinic?
Around 7 a.m. in the morning.
Okay, what injuries was he diagnosed with?
He had a sprained wrist and there were injuries on his chest.
All right, what did these injuries indicate?
These injuries are commonly seen when you come into sudden contact with an object in front of you, commonly a steering wheel. So those were the injuries he had.
So in your chief, I couldn't help but notice that you mentioned that these injuries could also have been sustained because of a sudden collision. Am I right in
Yes.
saying that?
Yes.
Point to be noted, sudden collision could also have been the body of the deceased person. That's why the injuries could have been. All right. Now, in your chief, you also mentioned that given the alcohol content in the body of the deceased person, it would have been almost nearly impossible for him to even walk properly. Am I correct in saying that?
It depends person to person, but people may have difficulty in walking. They may need assistance.
Okay, so if somebody has 0.20 alcohol content level, like what was present in the body of the deceased person, how do you think his movements would have been impaired?
It's likely his sense of balance would be heavily compromised. He may be disoriented and confused, and therefore may need help in walking straight.
May need help in walking. Point to be noted, defense says that he was trying to hop onto the tractor. For a person who can barely walk, quite improbable.
Are you not confusing the question? You are referring to deceased as well as to the injured.
I'm sorry, Your Honor, I didn't get your question.
So you are referring to the deceased.
The injured, yes.
She Dr. Rajiv treated whom?
Your Honor, Dr. Rajiv treated the accused person. I very well concede that. But however, during the chief of the defense witness, the defense asked with respect to the alcohol content level of the deceased person, and he very well testified to how the alcohol content level.
Accused. Okay, you can carry on.
No further questions, Your Honor. Thank you.
Thank you.
The counsel now seeks permission to proceed with the closing arguments. Your Honors, in this case, the accused person was charge-sheeted of 2 offences. He was charged of 2 offences. Section 302 of the IPC, which is punishment for murder, and Section 427, which is an aggravated form of mischief that leads to damage to property worth ₹50 or above. It is respectfully submitted that the prosecution has dispensed with their burden of proof and proved beyond reasonable doubt that the accused person in this case, Mr. Narayan Singh, he was guilty of both of these offences. So, Your Honours, our prosecution case very heavily relied on 2 independent eyewitnesses who say that they witnessed the entire incident. One is Mr. Ramakrishna and the other one is Mr. Ankit Sharma. Your Honours, I would first like to deal with the charge of Section 302, which is murder. At the very outset, it is pertinent to note that the offence of murder has 2 basic essential ingredients. The first one is the act of murdering somebody, and the second is the intention of doing that act. So, Your Honours, the testimony of the independent prosecution witnesses, they have been consistent throughout insofar as they have said that the accused person was on the tractor, he drove towards the deceased person, there was a considerable amount of distance between the two, and the driving of the tractor was very aggressive. Thereby, the first ingredient of the offence of murder is established, which is the actus reus, the physical act of killing somebody. Now, moving on to the second ingredient, Your Honours, which is more difficult to prove, which is the intention of the accused person. So normally, how do you determine the intention of the accused person? You determine it through the conduct of the accused person. Your Honours, in this case, I would again urge you to refer to the testimonies of the independent prosecution witnesses. Firstly, they said that there was a verbal altercation going on between the 2 people, the deceased and the accused person, right before the incident took place. This shows any reasonable person who's having an altercation with his brother over an issue which is so disputed, and more so in an area, in a village where people have agriculture as their main source of income, obviously it is going to enrage somebody, and clearly it did enrage the accused person in this case. Secondly, Your Honour, both the prosecution witnesses have very consistently consistently said that the tractor was moved in a very aggressive manner. It was driven at a very fast speed. If the accused person did not have the intention to kill the deceased person, then why didn't he move the tractor at a slow pace like any normal, reasonable person would have? He did not do so. He just simply drove the tractor at a very high speed. Thirdly, Your Honour, what was the conduct of the accused person after he hit the deceased person with the tractor? He did not stay there to help the deceased person. No, he did not. He just simply fled away from the crime scene, left his tractor, left his water tanker. He just simply fled away. Also, Your Honor, I would like you to refer to the autopsy report. The autopsy report prepared by the medical examiner that clearly states that the cause of the death in this case was blunt force trauma due to a heavy vehicle, which in this case was the tractor. Your Honor, now
Counsel,
Yes,
doesn't your autopsy report also say it is accidental?
Yes, Your Honor, for that I would like to state a precedent. In the case of Magan Bishani Lal versus State of Punjab, it was held by the court that the opinion of experts, it is a weak kind of evidence. It is not the opinion of the court and has to be corroborated. However, in this case, I don't see anything coming from the defense's side to show that it was an accident. The intention of the accused has been clearly shown from his conduct, right before the incident, at the time of the incident, and after the incident. Now, coming to the second charge of Section 427, Your Honor.
The 302 charge, is it our understanding that we will either acquit or convict him only of 302, or are you in the alternative pressing 304, for example?
The alternative, yes, we'll be pressing for 304.
So would you want to make some submissions on why 30? Supposing we are minded that this is not intention to cause death, what would bring it within 304?
Your Honor, what would bring it within 304 is the fact that he was driving at a very high speed in an agricultural land. Tractors and the distance between the deceased person and the tractor, right before the tractor was driven aggressively towards the deceased person, was of a significant amount. Thereby, I would respectfully submit that the tractor was driven aggressively and in a very rash and negligent manner, which no reasonable person in his situation would have done.
Counsel, you just said rash and negligent. All right.
Your Honor,
this is your alternate argument.
this is in arguendo argument.
Yeah, this is now third, because rash and negligent will get you to 304 capital A, and not even 304.
I'm sorry, I misunderstood it to be 304. No. My apologies. Now I will take.
You can be more specific. It is not that we are stopping you. The point is 302 or in the alternate 304A or 304 part 2.
See, the कहने का अर्थ सिर्फ इतना सा है कि आपने सिर्फ जो चार्ज एट्रीब्यूट हुआ है मर्डर का उसी के लिए प्रेस करना चाहते हो, या कल्पेबल होमोसाइड भी उसी का एक पार्ट है, उसी में से निकला हुआ लेसर एग्रावेटेड फॉर्म है, तो आप उसके लिए भी कह सकते हैं कि मान लीजिए कोर्ट का ओपिनियन ये बनता है कि 302 इंटेंशन प्रूव नहीं होती है, देन व्हाट? कैन द कोर्ट गो फॉर culpable homicide also, and what are the ingredients made out for the same? How in the given set of circumstances, if the charge of murder is not proved, can the court go for culpable homicide? That's what we intended to say.
Just before I move to 427, I'd like to cite one more precedent. The precedent of Narendra Singh versus State of UP. In that particular case, Your Honor, the accused was charged with offense of 302. In that particular case, the Honorable Supreme Court held that the sole eyewitness testimony of an independent witness is sufficient enough to prove the case of the prosecution beyond reasonable doubt. In this case, Your Honor, we have not presented just one, but two independent witnesses who have consistently recited the same chain of events. Now coming to section 427, which is a form of mischief, and the mischief that comes under 427 is of that kind which causes damage to property worth ₹50 or more. Now, Your Honor, from the testimony of Mr. Ram Krishna, who is the neighbor of the deceased person, he claims that Mr. Baldev Singh, the deceased person, was the owner of the land. Now, how did he infer this? If not in ownership, at least in possession of the land. And how did he infer this? Was because of the fact that he had seen him grow crops around the area of the well. And then when he was asked whether there was any damage caused to the crops that were grown on the land of Mr. Baldev Singh, he said that yes, there was damage caused because the accused person drove the tractor over the crops. And now, in order to prove the value of the damage that was caused to the property, we again asked him that, in your humble opinion, as a farmer, since he's a farmer, he will very well know what kind of price a particular crop can fetch in the market. He said that.
Under what provision of the Evidence Act would such opinion become admissible? The opinion of a farmer regarding the value of the crop. You are wanting to use it.
Yes, Your Honor.
Under which provision will it come?
Under the expert opinion, the farmer, in this case Mr. Ramakrishna, will be considered as an expert, and section 45 of the IEA.
So, if you can just look at 45, and there are certain categories there. Do you have 45?
Just a second, Your Honor.
When the court has to form an opinion upon a point of foreign law or science or art or identity of handwriting or finger impressions, or the opinion upon the point of person specially skilled in such foreign law, science or art or on handwriting is relevant. So it would fall under science, art, handwriting or foreign law.
Your Honor, I would argue it would fall under science. So with regards to the valuation of the crops that were destroyed, in his expert opinion, he testified that the damage was in the ballpark figure of rupees 1,000 to 1,500, and that's how the prosecution has proved beyond reasonable doubt that he was in fact charged of the offense of section 427, and there is nothing from the defense, no cross-examination of our witnesses or no chief of their defense witnesses whatsoever in terms of determining whether the accused person was actually liable for conviction under section 427 or not. With that, I rest my case, Your Honor. Thank you so much for your time.
Am I audible, Your Honors? Indeed. Your Honors, the prosecution in the present case needs to establish beyond a reasonable doubt that the accused, Narayan Singh, is actually guilty of the alleged act, which is of murder under SPC 302. Your Honors, the prosecution has failed to do so. Your prosecution on a matter of 304 applicability will also be disputed by the defense on the part that it was the victim's own fault being drunk and being coming in the way of his deaths. And his being drunk is a fact which is proved in their own autopsy report, which is submitted, and it has a point content of 0.20% alcohol. Your Honor, the aspect of accidental death has been further, and non-applicability of 302 specifically has been substantiated by Supreme Court in Gudar, Duswa, state of Bihar, where it was held that an accidental death is not at all covered under 302 IPC for their first argument. Moving on, Your Honor, the victim Baldev Singh was heavily drunk, which has been testified to by the doctor about the effect that it will have, including the fact that he will have a loss of motor, sensory and other functions, resulting in the fact of him not being in a state of mind to be aware and to be able to avoid a collision, which he was himself causing by coming in the way and going around in circles, as has been testified by the witnesses. Further, there are several procedural deficiencies in the investigation of the police.
Counsel.
Indeed.
You went to fetch water, is
Indeed,
your
Your Honor.
case.
Your Honor.
You have not shown a single question on your right to go to that well to get water.
Indeed.
You have pretty much accepted the prosecution version that the possession of that land is with the other brother, and that not even a suggestion has come from you to say that this is the place from where I can legitimately go and get water.
Yes.
In that event,
Your Honor,
for that reason, actually you are the first aggressor. You have gone to his house. After that, whether he is drunk, he is not drunk, those are all secondary issues. Could you explain something about how can you go to somebody else's property and get water?
Indeed. Your Honor, the property in question, both property, one occupied currently in possession by Baldev and Narayan, is actually the property of their father, the grandfather of Amanpreet Singh, who had left a will. Now, at this time being, there is certain conflict with regard to the authenticity of the will. While one side claims for a horizontal division of land, the other side claims for a vertical division. Because of this, the well, because of its location, is in a very contentious issue given the fact that water is an essential resource. And because of this, there is no clear answer. The civil case already going on about whether the party had the right to take out water. And therefore, since it's a disputed matter, the party cannot be taken as the aggressor, and it was a completely disputed matter, and there is no finality on whose property or whose well is it. Moving forward, there are several procedural issues. The prosecution witnesses and the police are contradicting themselves on where the crime scene is. The police have marked the crime scene to be near the boundary of the land between Baldev and Narayan Singh's land, while the witnesses have testified to it being near the well. Same is in the inquest and Panchnama report. For the Panchnama report, Your Honours, there has been no witness mention or signature found on the report, which is required under the CRPC and as per the Supreme Court in Yaqub Abdul Razak Menon for the state of Maharashtra. Without a signature or without a witness mention, the Panchnama report has no value and is inadmissible in this court of law. Further on, Your Honour, the autopsy report they have mentioned deems the cause, the manner of death to be accidental, and the fact that they have claimed that autopsy report is not substantial evidence is false, since the fact is that the report, while made by an expert, right, and it is and while the expert has not been examined by them, under section 32 subclause 2 of the CRPC, can be taken as evidence. Further, this has been held
The section 32 of the CRPC.
Indeed, India Evidence Act. Apologies, Your Honor.
What will come under 32 in an expert report?
Indeed, Your Honor, 32 clause 2 mentions the professional report made or these things made, and if the witness is not examined, his report can be taken to be evidence for this court. This has been recently approved by the Supreme Court in the case of Ramalingam versus N. Vishwanathan, when the court has gone forward to discuss how, if a report mentions the cause of death as natural or accidental, that is enough, that is substantial evidence for the court to discuss and to discredit the prosecution version. Further on, the charge sheet file is not in the proper format as well. It lacks the signature of the police in charge of submitting the charge sheet to the magistrate. Your Honor, mens rea has not been sufficiently established by the prosecution, for the simple fact that the accused in question had gone to get water at 6:30 a.m. to avoid any confrontation in the first place. He had gone to take water from a contentious well, a well that is in dispute at the moment. He had gone, the deceased person was trying to stop him, was trying to climb the tractor in a very dangerous way where the tractor was moving. He was exorbitantly drunk at that point in time. He was stopping the way, coming in way. The ground in question is muddy, has rice plants. There's a water tanker attached which limits the movability of the tractor itself. The tractor was still maneuvered a lot, as has been testified to by their witnesses themselves, indicating that the accused did everything to prevent an accident. The accused even applied sudden brakes, as has been testified to by his son and by the doctor as well, which indicates that he took a brake to prevent a collision with the deceased person. Further on, Your Honor, the alcohol point is very significant, as it is indicative of the deceased's own fault in the accident. On the matter of 427, as the defense has indicated, since it's a contentious issue and the value of the crop cannot be substantially taken from the word of a farmer, not to mention that the farmer is not sure what he saw from beyond a wall. Ramakrishna has mentioned that there's a wall between the land. He has not mentioned the height, and he is saying I can still see beyond the wall clearly. It's very suspicious about how he can see. After the incident, there was silence on the face of the accused. He was under shock. He was remorseful. His son has testified to the same. In this case, the defense humbly prays to this court to give a verdict of not guilty and acquit the accused under section 302 of the SPC and others as well. Thank you, Your Honor. Any questions? Thank you, Your Honor.
Thank you, participants. So I would just like to apprise the judges that the prosecution has exceeded their time by 1 minute, whereas the defense has exceeded their time by 13 seconds. The judges may take note of this. I think it is very important, like since we are having all these esteemed judges, that the participants also come to know about their performance, how they performed. Definitely after this particular few minutes, we are going to know what the result is. But I think it's very, very important for both the teams to know how they performed, and it will be really nice if our judges can give feedbacks, suggestions to the teams.
हेलो सी मैं कोई फीडबैक या कोई सजेशन नहीं है, बट मुझे लगा कि जहाँ पे जो क्रॉस एग्जामिनेशन था या एग्जामिनेशन इन चीफ था, जहाँ जहाँ डेवलप हो सकता था या जैसे हो सकता था, उसमें मुझे लगा कि मैं आपके साथ एक दो पॉइंट्स शेयर करूं, दैट कैन बी लिटिल बिट हेल्पफुल. इट इज़ जस्ट डिस्कशन, इसमें ऐसा कुछ भी नहीं है. मैं तो जो मुझे लगा इसलिए मैं आपके साथ शेयर कर रहा हूँ. जो सेक्शन 45 पे एक बात हुई कि जी इज़ इट एक्सपर्ट ओपिनियन और नॉट, बट जो प्रोसिक्यूशन स्टोरी है, दैट स्टोरी इन itself starts कि ये जून के मंथ की घटना थी and all that. One day earlier also I shared it with you all कि यदि हमें practical realities का पता होगा तो we will be in better position to put the questions. Now in the month of June आप सबको पता होगा कि जो राइस है, पैडी है, उसकी फसल की सिचुएशन क्या होती है. यदि आपको पता होगा तो आप जज कर पाएंगे कि फसल किस स्टेज की रही होगी, उसकी हाइट क्या रही होगी. जब आप फसल की हाइट ऐसी कहते हैं तो आप समझ सकते हैं कि सामने वाले को यदि पता है तो वो समझ जाएगा कि आपको फसल वसल से कोई लेना देना नहीं है, और वो वहाँ से क्वेश्चन आपको उस तरह से पोज कर सकता है. So if you are aware about the practical realities, it can be better for you. You can raise the questions in better manner. Second, जो आपने डिफेंस का विटनेस लेके आए, डिफेंस की मैं एक आपके साथ एक स्टोरी शेयर करूँगा, मे बी उससे आप बेहतर कोरोबरेट कर पाएंगे. एक एक्सीडेंट का केस था, रेस एंड नेग्लिजेंट एक्ट का. रोडवेज की बस में चंडीगढ़ से दिल्ली के लिए लोग जा रहे थे. एक बंदा पानीपत से बस में चढ़ा और वो ड्राइवर के साथ बातें करते हुए आ रहे थे. रिजल्टेंटली आपके यहाँ गन्नौर में आके बस का एक्सीडेंट हुआ. नाउ ड्राइवर वाज बीइंग प्रोसिक्यूटेड. केस मेरे पास था, इसलिए प्रैक्टिकल स्टोरी मैं बता रहा हूँ. तो अब नाउ द क्वेश्चन वाज कि रेस एंड नेग्लिजेंट एक्ट को प्रूव करना बहुत मुश्किल है, इतना आसान नहीं है. जनरली जो 304A के जो केसेस होते हैं, दे रिजल्ट इनटू एक्विटल. लेकिन डिफेंस का विटनेस बुलाया काउंसिल ने और उससे ये क्वेश्चन पोज किया कि जी आप बताइए, जब आप चढ़े तो ड्राइवर क्या कर रहा था, आपको सीट कहाँ मिली. और ये पूछते 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 उन्होंने ये एडमिट करा लिया कि जी मैं बोनट पे बैठा था, जो बस के बीच में ड्राइवर सीट के साथ में जो सीट के और कंडक्टर के बीच की जो जगह होती है ना, मुझे सीट नहीं मिली, मैं उस बोनट पे बैठा था, बीड़ी पी रहा था और ड्राइवर से बातें कर रहा था. ड्राइवर ठीक गाड़ी चला रहा था और हम बातें करते आ रहे थे, और जब आगे जैसे भी एक्सीडेंट हुआ तो ड्राइवर मेरी तरफ देख रहा था। अब आप बताइए, ड्राइवर के साथ में जहां सीट नहीं है वहां उसका बैठना, उसका बातें करते जाना, उसका बीड़ी पीना, और जब एक्सीडेंट हुआ तो वो उधर ही देख रहा था। आप प्रोसिक्यूशन को क्या प्रूव करने की आवश्यकता रहेगी? प्रोसिक्यूशन क्या प्रूव करेगा जब डिफेंस ने अपना गवाह बुला करके अपने केस को खुद से डेमोलिश कर लिया? आपने जो डिफेंस का गवाह बुलाया, अपना क्या नाम था, अंकित, नो, अमनप्रीत कहता है जी मैं आई विटनेस था, ही वॉज इन शॉक, व्हाट वॉज हिज कंडीशन पता नहीं, ठीक है। इसने ये कहा कि जी हमारा सिविल लिटिगेशन चल रही थी, ठीक है, यानी कि, और जो वो इन्होंने आके बहुत अच्छा क्वेश्चन पोज किया, इन्होंने 4 क्वेश्चन पूछे अमनप्रीत को, और चारों ही बड़े रेलिवेंट और बहुत अच्छे पूछे। इन्होंने मोटिव जो प्रूव करना था प्रोसिक्यूशन को, उसको डिफेंस के गवाह को बुला के प्रूव करा दिया। डिफेंस अपना गवाह बुलाया और वो ये माना कि जी हाँ सिविल लिटिगेशन पेंडिंग थी, और ये भी उसने मान लिया कि विल फॉर्ज हुई थी, यानी कि समथिंग वाज गोइंग ऑन, एक प्रीवियस लिटिगेशन जिसको प्रूव करने की जिम्मेदारी प्रोसिक्यूशन की थी। प्रोबेबली डिफेंस वाले को बुलाना या नहीं बुलाना, आई डोंट नो इस केस में पर्टिकुलरली इन द गिवन सर्कमस्टांसेस। आई एम नॉट टॉकिंग कि डिफेंस बुलाना या नहीं बुलाना, लेकिन किस लिए बुलाना है, उससे क्या बुलवाना है, वो क्या पॉइंट आपका प्रूव करने के लिए आ रहे हैं, दैट इज वेरी 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 मटीरियल। हियर इन मोटिव को प्रूव करने की जरूरत ही नहीं है, मोटिव तो आपने प्रूव किया, मोटिव की तो कोई कहानी नहीं रहेगी। इन्होंने 4 क्वेश्चन किए कि क्या 200 मीटर दूर से दिखता था, अनलेस किसी को चश्मे लगे हुए और वाकई नहीं दिखता है, 200 मीटर दूर गांव में जून के महीने में सुबह 6:30 बजे के टाइम में, जुडिशियल नोटिसेबल फैक्ट है कि कोई भी आदमी देख ही सकता है। कांट यू सी, 200 मीटर का हो गया 2 एकड़ दूरी से, और जब कोई आदमी गाली गलौज करता है या लड़ाई होती है तो इतनी पिच नॉर्मल होती है कि 200 मीटर दूर सुन ही जाता है। और जबकि जून का महीना है तो बड़ी फसलें तो होंगी नहीं, कोई ऑब्स्ट्रक्शन होगा नहीं, ऑब्स्ट्रक्शन नहीं होगा तो ऑब्वियसली एनीबडी एंड एवरीबडी कैन सी व्हाट इज हैपनिंग, राइट। सो इन दीज सर्कमस्टांसेस आस्किंग इट, आपने एक बहुत अच्छा क्वेश्चन पूछा कि किस डायरेक्शन में मूव कर रहा था। व्हेन यू क्रॉस्ड, यू रेज वेरी इंपॉर्टेंट क्वेश्चंस की डिस्टेंस क्या थी, किस डायरेक्शन में मूव कर रहा था, एंड एज टू वेदर वो बार बार चढ़ने की कोशिश कर रहा था ट्रैक्टर पे। दिस वॉज द वेरी मटीरियल क्वेश्चन, जहां से उसकी इंटेंशन और इसमें डिस्टिंक्शन में आप आर्ग्यू कर सकते हैं कि क्या वो under the influence of alcohol he was trying to climb the tractor, or he was, second, आपने ये क्वेश्चन कोई से ने रेज नहीं किया कि क्या उसमें फसल बोई हुई थी, यानी कि धान लगाया हुआ था या नहीं लगाया हुआ था, कितना उसमें पानी था। क्योंकि यदि पानी होगा खेत में तो ट्रैक्टर की स्पीड ऑटोमेटिक डिफरेंट होगी, और यदि सूखा होगा तो स्पीड ऑटोमेटिकली डिफरेंट होगी। होप गेटिंग माय पॉइंट। यदि ट्रैक्टर को घूमने के लिए एक पर्टिकुलर एरिया की आवश्यकता होगी, यदि आप कहेंगे कि जी सीधा एक लाइन में जा रहा था, ईस्ट जा रहा था, वेस्ट जा रहा था, नॉर्थ जा रहा था, कितनी दूरी पे था, जब आप इस लेवल पे पहुंचे तो वहां से ये जरूरी था कि आप उन्होंने ट्रैक्टर लेफ्ट में टर्न किया, आप लेफ्ट में एक्सीडेंट हुआ, जो क्राइम सीन था उसके बारे में कोई क्वेश्चन नहीं हुआ। दैट वॉज वेरी मटीरियल पीस ऑफ एविडेंस इन द गिवन सर्कमस्टांसेस कि उसने ट्रैक्टर को लेफ्ट टर्न किया, तब वो ट्रैक्टर के कौन से टायर के नीचे आया, उसने सामने से हिट किया, वो पिछले टायर के नीचे आया, अगले टायर के नीचे आया, सीन ऑफ अक्रेंस में क्या दिखाया गया है उसके बारे में कोई, इट इज एज इफ वी आर प्रोजेक्टिंग कि रोड पे कोई जा रहा था, बड़ी स्पीड से बाइक आई या वो ट्रक आया, बस आई और उसने हिट कर दिया. दिस इज नॉट द केस. we need to assess, we need to strategize, we need to frame the questions as per the given facts and circumstances. And in the present case, given facts and circumstances were revolving around the hitting the person by tractor in the field. So situation of the field, revolving of the tractor, climbing of that person on the tractor, these were the material questions which could have been asked and which could have elucidated the matter further. This was what I wanted to share with you. Sorry.
Just supplementing what Mr. Narendra has just shared. In every criminal case, where like facts are known, like here also, this was a case where early morning incident took place and person died, and incidentally both are real brothers. One eyewitness is son of the accused, and the other one is the real brother, and there is a dispute with regard to the property. There may be like any other case also where facts are common, and obviously when any accused is put to trial, its foremost duty is of the prosecution to establish its case. Because as by now we all know that in criminal case, the charge is to be proved beyond shadow of reasonable doubt. So once the witnesses and any trial begins with the final report. So final report means once the investigation is completed, the report is filed. By that time, accused is also aware as to what is the material which is collected by the prosecution during the investigation. So now that once that material is available, including the statements of the witnesses, so that means that is the maximum thing which prosecution is having against the accused. Now, the most important thing is, if in that material there is some lacuna or something which is like beneficial to the accused, because you being defense counsel, you are not judgmental with regard to the complicity of the crime. Your job, your duty is just to, because a person has approached you by saying that I am innocent, I have been falsely implicated. So your job is just to elucidate the facts and the circumstances from that very material only. Your cross-examination, you were very specific and you were well prepared. But at the same time, any defense counsel also must know where to stop. That is very important. Because if you will exceed that thing, so then obviously later on you cannot take this plea that this was not the story of like original charge sheet, or it was not the part of original statement of the witness recorded during investigation. So cross-examination, as you must have read, is like double-edged sword. So that is why it is called double-edged. So whatever like prosecution may miss, you may fill up that lacuna. So once your style of cross-examination was good, like you were trying to like put the witness into some sort of pressure so that he may deviate. But at the same time, questions and answers, involvement of mind should be there. It should not be running. So that will help you. And as far as prosecution is concerned, while again, as Mr. Narendra said, while cross-examining a defense witness, that is also very important, because then at that stage, whatever your defense witness is saying, prosecution has nothing to lose. Even if they say that we don't want to cross-examine, even then they can prove their case through their witnesses which they, during their stage, they examined. So my last suggestion is, like in every criminal case, if you will go to your like, after this law course, you are going to litigation, try to be brief. In criminal case, try to be very, very brief. That will in fact help you.
जो सर ने कहा उसमें मैं एक लाइन जस्ट मैं और ऐड करना चाहूँगा एक दो जगह आप एक दूसरे की स्टेटमेंट से कंफ्यूज कर रहे थे, लेकिन प्रोबेबली एक विटनेस ने जो एक 161 की स्टेटमेंट में जो कहा है, आप उसी का उसको कंट्राडिक्ट करा सकते हैं या उसको सब्सटेंशिएट कर सकते हैं, सपोर्ट कर सकते हैं या कंट्राडिक्ट, लेकिन दूसरे विटनेस की जो स्टेटमेंट है, एक्सेप्ट इन द आर्ग्यूमेंट तो आप कर सकते हैं कि जी इस गवाह ने का वर्सन ये रहा है, इसका ये रहा है, लेकिन दूसरे जो विटनेस है उसकी जो स्टेटमेंट है 161 की जो स्टेटमेंट बोलते हैं, उसकी जो प्राइम जो वर्सन है गिवन टू द पुलिस विच इज़ नॉट रिक्वायर्ड टू बी साइंड अंडर 161, उसको सिर्फ उसी विटनेस को पुट किया जा सकता है, किसी दूसरे विटनेस को नहीं पुट किया जा सकता। लेकिन आपके पूरे क्रॉस एग्जामिनेशन में ना आपके कहीं पे भी ऐसा नहीं था कि आपने अपनी 161 की स्टेटमेंट में ये बात कही है या ये बात नहीं कही है। In one instance, it seems that the prosecution witness has exceeded or improvised the version given under 161, but then this skipped the this questioning in cross कि सी आपने 161 की स्टेटमेंट में ये बात नहीं है आपकी, इसका अर्थ आप जो अब केस डेवलप कर रहे हैं ये कहीं ना कहीं एक्स्ट्रा डेवलप कर रहे हैं। This will help in argument, because basically the motive or the object is to impeach the credibility of the witness. So first strategize how to trap the witness in your trap. एक क्वेश्चन को what maybe I am exceeding this sentence, but try to rephrase the sentence as much as you can and as much as you want, क्योंकि गवाह को तोड़ने का रीफ्रेजिंग से ज़्यादा और कोई रास्ता मुझे तो समझ नहीं आया। एक ही बात को कितनी बार घुमा के आप उससे पूछ सकते हैं, ये आपको टेक्निक सीखनी पड़ेगी to understand the human psychology and to rephrasing the things and putting the same question by way of different perspectives that can fetch you the better results. Thank you.
I think first I want to start by saying congratulations to 4 of you first for doing this. But for me, the heroes of this entire thing were the witnesses. To stay in character, to be able to imbibe that storyline, to protect themselves from lawyers who will ask questions in different directions. I think that was a treat to watch as much as it was for the 4 of you. See, you were anyways they were in the background, but really did a great job. So as far as I'm concerned, first congratulations to all 4 or 5 of you who stood up here as witnesses. See, I want us to step back a little bit. This process that we're doing, you're doing cross-examination. We want to. There is a story. There's a story that has to be told. There's a story of the prosecution. There's a story of the defense. There is a perspective. Each witness brings their truth. Nobody is lying. Everybody is on oath. We can't start with the assumption that X person is lying and Y person. When we were kids, there used to be this story of X number of blind men went to interact with an elephant. And when they were asked, what is an elephant like? One said it is like a pillar, the other person like a snake, so on and so forth. These are perspectives. All of them are true. It is sometimes the combination of all of them that makes the complete picture, which is for the judge to figure out that when I look at the combination of these 4 or 5 things, what is the truth that comes out to me? What is the overall picture that I am now producing? As lawyers, whether for the prosecution or for the defense, it is important for you to visualize that picture, which evidence will bring through. Each of these witnesses is a piece of that jigsaw puzzle. Not every witness cannot say everything. You got a doctor here. You ask that person in their sphere, You start asking them about something else because the witness is wanting to give you an answer, but that is completely irrelevant. It is the overall picture that you will then knit in your argument to say, sir, this is what, we have 2 eyewitnesses or we have 3 eyewitnesses. These are the 3 perspectives that come. For doing that, please start the story when these 2 brothers were born. You don't have to put that in evidence, but that is the character building that you're doing. Simple things. Somebody has gone to fetch water from a well. First thing that I must do is to establish that this is a usual and a normal occurrence. This is not something that happened straight on that particular day, and because the entire prosecution case starts with 6:30 on so-and-so morning, somebody went to fetch water, which that person should not have been doing, in the backdrop of a dispute, differences, etc. As defense, I want to build the scenario of, yes, there are disputes and differences, but it is like a chronic ailment. सालों साल से चली आ रही है. इसके अंदर nobody is going to kill each other because of this. So you try to do that. But to be able to extend that, sir, for 10 years, we have been taking water from that same well. There are, every time that people come across each other and they are taking this water, there koi jhadap hoti hai, and after that, the matter is lost, it is done. It is a small issue. It is a minuscule issue. This particular day, and you built this, I tried to go early in the morning so that I could avoid him, but he was drunk. His drunkenness is the reason why the altercation took place, not the fact that I went to take water from his. To be able to visualize that larger story and then break it down into each witness and push those is what the task is. How to use legal provisions in this telling of story, how to use your questions as the tools of telling that story, is the art of cross-examination. So at least as far as I am concerned, I think both for prosecution and for defense, the suggestion I have, and for everybody else, whether you do trial advocacy, you do appellate advocacy, you do pleading, you do anything, your job is to convince somebody else of your position. How do you convince somebody else? By telling a compelling story. Your story must sound to me the more reasonable one. I must believe that story. I must believe that narrative. And if I do, I will find the reasons to hold in your favor. So I think that as a suggestion and more distillation of at least whatever, see, all of us come from different perspectives. I can only bring to you what, I don't know law, I don't know facts, but for whatever it is worth, we have all now spent time in this profession. That time is about, this profession is about telling a story, and it is about telling the best story that anybody can tell. So on that note, I think congratulations again, and just broad base your vision a little. As sir said, the reality of June, the reality of paddy fields, these are all small things, but they're very critical things. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much, sir. I hope that teams are going to take these suggestions into account. So now we would request all of you to stay in the Imaginarium while the judges are going to discuss their results. And we are going to come back to you within just some time. Thank you very much.
अरे चलता है देख लेंगे, सब देख लेंगे। भाई लाइव चल रहा है। अरे फोटो लो ना जल्दी ताकि खत्म हो। Quick. I'll also get one of mine. Live है, कुछ नहीं होता। आओ, घुस गए सारे।
नहीं
YouTube
लाइव
चल रहा है।
फिर YouTube पे सेमीफाइनल वाला लाइव है।
कैमरा है। ये तो वहाँ देख रहे हैं।
भैया से पूछेंगे। ये है।
Oh yeah, wait, it's watching. Yes. बढ़िया है. I'll also get one eventually then. I'll put it on my LinkedIn. I will read one. मैंने भी पता है वो कंसिडर किया था, तो मैंने तेरे रिव्यूज वो देखे। अरे इसके साथ छोड़, मेरे देख। इसके साथ छोड़, भी चला गया।
I'll take two yours with this two now.
मेरा वो उसमें फर्स्ट बिट
तो इनका जाने देना फिर I'll
या
take
कट
it.
करे मैंने तो छोले कुछ एक भी नहीं पता। अब या तो वो लेने पड़े, या तो ये लोग सीट्स ले लो मेरी।
Sorry. And then crate.
I have witness box. I'm standing. So
क्या witness एकदम
ये क्या विटनेस है? इतना कूल स्टाइल के साथ विटनेस है ये।
Hello, 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 hello. Chalu. Speakers are on. Who is announcing?
So the much awaited moment is here. I'm pretty sure that everybody over here in this Imaginarium is waiting for the results. I would just like to say one thing, that one never loses. Either one wins or learns something. On this particular note, I would like to invite Senior Advocate Siddharth Agarwal sir to announce the winners. I further invite Punish Chindia sir as well as Narendra Singh sir to come on the podium.
This is our inquisition and test now. So we had a good session of deliberation and decided that on an overall assessment, the winner for today's assessment, and this is not, that's why I said we look at various things. It's very difficult to go and say, oh, you are the winner and you've lost. But the winner for today's position, we have unanimously agreed, should be the prosecution side. So congratulations. And congratulations to the defense as well. I heard that you guys were first years, so phenomenal job from that perspective, and it was not an easy decision to come to this position, but do keep up at all of these kind of activities on both sides, because really the participation is the victory, and you guys have obviously come second, so it's not as if you've lost. But congratulations again, guys.
लाइटर साइड पे आपको एक और पॉजिटिव बात ये है कि आपको एक अपील मिल गई है, अपनी अपील की तैयारी करो आई सो आपकी फीस हमने बनवा दी है, उसकी चिंता
And every time effort should be collective.
I think
Can we give the certificates or?
Now I request our judges to give the awards. So I now invite the prosecution team, who are the winners of this particular competition, to come on to the podium and collect their awards. Now I invite the runners-up, the defense team, to come onto the podium and collect their awards. Now we are also going to give the awards for the semi-finalists. Revati and Shreya, if you are over here. Yeah. Definitely, we are going to give those certificates to them as well. Indeed, they did an incredible job.
This is my suggestion.
Definitely, sir. You better ask for a treat from the prosecution team now. Now I request Professor Aparna Babu George to kindly felicitate our guest.
Just a quick word of thanks to our judges who have gone over and beyond today with their comments and their engagement with the teams and just everything. So thank you so much, sir. I think you're really helping inculcate the culture of litigation in this university by being here and interacting with our students. So thank you so much to you too. And I'll just give you our certificates of appreciation.
Maybe like just one word. We are also learning. While coming here, maybe like this is second round of learning through you all. Thank you.
Thank you.
सोनीपत में हूँ तो अगर इसको प्रैक्टिकली कोर्ट में आना है तो ये ऑल आर मोस्ट वेलकम अभी भी आके कोर्ट में आपको कुछ लर्न करने का अगर मन है आपका प्रोसीडिंग्स देखना चाहते सीखना चाहते यू ऑल आर मोस्ट थैंक यू सर
So thank you very much. After this felicitation, we have come to the end of the first witness examination competition that the Trial Advocacy Society has organized. I would like to thank our judges for taking their time out to come for this particular competition and giving such valuable feedbacks and inputs which actually inculcated the spirit of trial within the people, within the students, within the faculty, and within everybody. I would also like to congratulate the teams. I would like to congratulate and thank Professor Aparna Babu George, who's our faculty coordinator. Wonderful members of Trial Advocacy Society. The AV team, the photographers, the videographers who have come over here. And above all, thank you very much to all the participants and the audience who has come over here, gathered here to make this event a success. Thank you so very much.
Let's move these tables, no?